How many times have you let your mistakes take control of you? How many times have you felt stuck because of the mistakes that you made in the past? And how many times have those mistakes interrupted you from achieving new things for yourself? To me personally, this happened a lot. And this is the biggest reason as to why I decided to make a video like this. I just want to let people know how to gain more clarity and how to get closer to their goals as someone who went through this stage of making mistakes and feeling guilty because of them. Sometimes it's really the guilt that eats you up alive. When you make a mistake and you're aware that you made a mistake and you constantly repeat the cycle, it creates an endless guilt inside of yourself that blocks you from doing something new or just doing your regular things. It generally creates depression inside of you. And it's crucial to just accept those mistakes, and heal what made you make the mistake. So the first thing in absolute to do when you feel lost due to your mistakes is to reflect on why this thing is actually toxic and detrimental for your health, and started to turn the tables. I don't know, let's take an example. You could have an addiction about anything. And the moment after your reward system in your brain stopped, you start to feel this immense wave of guilt and regret, right? You must reflect on that thing. What led me to do that mistake? What did I not control? What did I not take in mind that was actually toxic to my health and I still decided to do this anyways? You have to understand the cause that led you to do that thing. You should find something else to replace in order not to commit the same mistake again. The toxic part about addictions is just that sometimes they have a thought that is stuck in your head and it doesn't go away, and so the urge constantly increases. But you have to view that as if it's a wave. You're surfing a wave that will eventually go away if you do not feed them with more thinking about the same thing that it wants you to think about. Then, once you reflected and you found solutions to cope with the urges, I want you to set clear goals for yourself. Remember, changing is not easy, but it is crucial if you want to break a new version of yourself. If you want to stay stuck on the same version that constantly cries at night because of the mistakes it makes and just makes bad things over and over and then regrets that, you can go on with the addiction. But if you want to change for the better, you should also put the effort and sometimes struggle in order to reach the version. You are now a new version with a new mindset, new coping mechanisms. You are better than how you were before, and you should set your mind to that. This is one of the most important things. Once you actually set new goals to yourself, you should also stick to them with discipline. Sometimes we plan goals for ourselves, but we do not really stick to them with discipline for a long period of time. It might last 3 days or 4, but then we fall back again. The point is we should stick with discipline, because this is the only way we can really change from the version that we were before to a new version. If we constantly fall, we lose trust in ourselves every time. The point is gaining trust within ourselves with discipline. However, you don't want to do that because of particular reasons, it doesn't matter, because you are a disciplined person now. And a disciplined person does it even when they don't feel ready to do that thing. This is how it works. You don't work through motivation, you work through discipline. Another technique that could help you would be radical acceptance. So basically, radical acceptance is the technique that makes you accept things despite your feelings, despite how you felt, despite the scenario that happened. You just tell yourself, it's okay, I accept that that thing happened, but it doesn't resemble with the version that I am now and I let it go. I can make myself feel the feeling because this is healing, but I just let it in the past because it doesn't associate with the version I am now. So instead of feeding guilt and feeding anger and all of those emotions, just try to accept what happened because you don't rely on that version anymore. I can promise you, every single person on this earth has at least made one mistake in their lifetime. There's no person that is strong without having made a mistake. I am a strong person, yes. But do you know how many mistakes I've made in order to reach this version that I am now? I made a lot of mistakes, guys. I really made a lot of mistakes in my past. But it doesn't matter because I learned the lessons that those mistakes wanted to teach me and I used it as fuel to become a better person. So if you ever feel guilty because of the mistakes that you made, just note that people made at least one mistake in their lifetime. You are not alone. Truly, you are not alone. So kind of let go of perfectionism, of always wanting to be perfect, of thinking that you are unshakable, that nothing can break you. It doesn't work like that because we are human. We are not AI. We make mistakes because we are human. Our brains are imperfect. No brain is perfect. AI might be perfect because it's designed to be perfect, but we are not designed to be perfect. We are designed to live and experience life through lessons that we receive and we decide to store inside of ourselves to live better. So stay focused on your journey only. Stop comparing yourself to other people just because, it seems like the grass is greener on their side. But that's not true because you don't know their whole story. You might see someone who's prettier than you or someone who has maybe you can consider a nicer personality than you or that is richer than you or that has dynamics that is just in general better, you might think to your standpoint, but you don't know what that person is going through. You don't know their past. You don't know the mistakes that they made. You don't know how they achieved that thing. So stop comparing yourself to other people because their experience is different from yours. You have yours for a reason because you should focus on your reason to become magnetic, to spark better. Focus on you and stop comparing yourself. Most people don't show their struggle. They might just show this good appearance on the outside, but you might not know what they feel on the inside because they have a story too. But some people tell their story and some people don't. But it doesn't mean just because they don't tell the story that they have on the inside that they didn't have a story. Each one of us has a story and each one of us has made at least one mistake. So focus on yourself and focus on improving yourself. Once you achieve this level of consciousness, try to transform the mistakes that you made and the pain you felt as fuel to create masterpieces. Most people who were in a moment of pain, in a moment of agony because of the mistakes that they made, or the past, the terrible past that they had, or terrible feelings that they're still processing inside of themselves. Do you know what they did? They transformed those bad feelings that they felt inside of themselves, and they found the energy to create masterpieces. The biggest artists, the biggest poets, the biggest musicians, all of those creative people mostly work from the lessons that they learned and the pain that they feel inside of themselves. They work through feelings and emotions to make people feel closer and to express themselves, to even vent or rant. This is how you transmute energy from negative to positive. You are able to create masterpieces because you had beautiful lessons that you learned for yourself and that you can now apply into your life. Last thing, try not to let a bad day, a bad feeling, a bad emotion, a bad past, a bad situation, whatever, just don't let things control you. And it doesn't matter if we had a bad day. Just let yourself rest after the bad day. You don't have to do bad things to cope with the bad feeling or the intense feeling that you're feeling right now. You can find an easier way to cope with that. You can just give yourself enough rest. Or you can write about it in your notebook. But you don't have to constantly rely on those bad coping mechanisms that at the end, they just intensify the emotions and they create even more guilt to yourself. You don't want that. So stop holding on to that and start to find better things you can replace the pain with. Don't let bad or intense things take control over you. You are stronger than any thought, emotion, or urge that comes your way. You are stronger than that. Take in mind this. So I thought to conclude this video with an idea that I've written yesterday. I've written this on my notebook and I decided to read it out loud to let you guys feel closer to what I've written. Alright, so it's named The Week. This is a message for those who feel powerless, deprived of any energy inside and feel as if something is taking control over them. When our emotions hit home way too deep, we feel personally attacked. Some people choose to reply with resilience, others give in to toxic coping mechanisms to numb the pain. Weak. When we feel alone inside, it doesn't matter who we surround ourselves with. We just want the feeling to run away. Weak. When our fears get louder, we might end up feeding them with doubt rather than courage. This is how they get bigger and start owning us. Weak. When our traumas and bad memories we would want to forget sting, the depression arises. Some people choose healing, others close themselves in a dark cage. Weak. I said weak many times, but what is weakness? To me, weakness is the act of not giving yourself enough push to face life and its adversities. And so we are constantly controlled and ruled by something we refuse to face. But no person is strong without having experienced weakness. It takes acceptance, courage, discipline, and kindness. Those are the 4 elements. It takes acceptance, as I said before, in order to move forward and finally get closer to the version that you want to reach for yourself. It takes courage, because if we are not courageous enough to try out new things and experience new feelings, how are we expected to grow? It takes discipline, because we have to stick to the plan. If we do not stick to the plan, we can't see change as well. And we have to be kind to ourselves, because when we are kind to ourselves, things get lighter. Our soul feels lighter and it doesn't feel like a comment. I hope that this video was useful. I hope that I moved something inside of you. I hope that you were able to find something useful in this video. And yes, see you in the next video. Bye.